Buffs are something I rarely use. In most games like Terraria, Skyrim and even Minecraft, most buffs come in the form of potions. Sometimes you can find these potions just out in the wild. For example, you can find damage reduction or speed potions in pots in Terraria. However, there is one big problem. When these potions run out, you have to craft more, which some people like to do, but I do not. It's just not fun scouring the world for rare ingredients or not sleeping for 3 days in Minecraft in order to craft a slow falling potion. Besides, in games with difficulty settings, you don't even need buffs at lower difficulties. By lower, I mean normal. In the normal mode of Terraria, you can just shred bosses only using your weapons. If you use buffs here, you just sort of remove the fun from early game bosses, because they become way too easy. I only felt the need to use buffs when I was playing Terraria's hardest mode a few months back. Besides this, in some games, buffs are just way too specific, like 10% more damage to the undead. When you are able to easily craft these specific potions, you already have weapons that can easily deal with these types of enemies without using buffs. In my opinion, there are only 2 games I've played that do buffs perfectly. Those are Monster Hunter World and the game I'll be talking about today, Deep Rock Galactic. First of all, a simple explanation of Deep Rock Galactic just in case you haven't played the game. Deep Rock Galactic is a game where you work for a dwarven mining company. The mining company is interested in this planet named Hoxie's 4 and they send you, the dwarves, to the planet to do some work. This work ranges from simple mining to stealing the eggs of alien spiders to sabotaging another company's data core, which is actually a huge boss called the Caretaker. You can choose what mission to do from this place called the Space Rig, which is a space station orbiting Hoxie's 4 that also serves as the hub for the game. In this hub there is this bar called the Abyss Bar. This is where your dwarves can just get blackout drunk and fall to the ground. Though this is not the only thing the Abyss Bar offers. You can also purchase special drinks, ranging from ones that freeze you to ones that make you even smaller than a dwarf. But that's not even it, because if you just look up here, you can see today's special drinks. Today's special drinks are drinks that provide you with special attributes, so essentially buff potions. However, I like today's special drinks, but I don't really like general consumable potions. So why is that? Well, one of the most important reasons is that the devs managed to make using buffs feel fun. That may sound weird, but drinking beer or ale in Deep Rock Galactic is an event, just like eating food in Monster Hunter World. But instead of watching cat chefs cook you Michelin-starred gourmet meals, you watch this cute bartender named Lloyd, or the bartender from The Shining. Then, once you order your drink, you can see Lloyd pouring the drink into the beer mugs and just watch it foam. It doesn't end here. You can activate the jukebox to dance while drinking, and when done with multiple players, it's really fun, jolly cooperation. You can also press the Rock and Stone button in order to get special salutes if you're holding a beer. Some of these are:
May your beards be thick and your gold satchels heavy. Miners, the lowest and the highest. To mates, to darkness, and to making it back alive.
Though my favorite one has to be when the dwarves say "to the fallen" in a somber tone.
To the fallen.
Even though the game is fun, mission control and this line still reminds you that in-universe mining is an extremely deadly job. Finally, for the fun part of the buffing, I should probably talk about getting drunk. Every drink in the game has a potency rating and intoxication percentage assigned to it. For example, something like the Glyphid Slammer's potency is strong and it raises your character's intoxication by 20%. On the other hand, we have the one, the only, Blackout Stout, which is legendary in its potency. The Blackout Stout raises your character's intoxication level to the max, so by 100%. Yeah, that is why it is called the Blackout Stout. And when your character's intoxication reaches 100, you pass out and fall to a revive state, which is pretty funny. Especially when you have a full lobby of random yet good players that don't immediately leave after completing a mission. The other reason is that there are very few buffs, and none except one are specific to one mission type. One problem I have with buffs in many games is that there are just so many buffs, it's just bloated. Seriously, some games have a buff potion for every single damage type and every single enemy type. Then you likely have to learn which buffs can stack and which ones cannot. Deep Rock Galactic just bypasses this problem by only including 8 buffs, and making it so that they cannot stack. It is impossible to stack them anyway, since the drinks rotate every 30 minutes, and this change doesn't take place until you enter a mission, even if you have waited 30 minutes in the hub. These buffs also just last one mission, so you don't have to worry about skipping resources in order to complete your objective before the buff's effect ends. These buffs are Backbreaker Scout, which increases your movement speed while carrying something heavy. Dark Morkite. This is the only buff specific to one mission because it only makes a difference in mining operation missions. It increases the amount of Morkite you get by 1.4 times. Also, as a side note, this spear is apparently made with real Morkite ore, which is something the developers have mentioned in the Discord. Red Rock Blaster. Made from aged stout, habanero sauce, and military grade combat stim, Red Rock Blaster is one of the best buffs. They are all good, mind you, just that if you are somewhat new to Deep Rock, like me, Red Rock Blaster is perfect since it simply increases your HP by 30%. Rocky Mountain. Not to be confused with Rocky Mountain Oysters, which is a dish made up of balls. This drink makes your pickaxe instantly break everything in one hit. Skull Crusher Ale. This drink with this metal of a name increases your base pickaxe damage by 20 just by sheer edge. Slayer Stout. Yes, it decreases the cooldown of your pickaxe power attack, but the real important thing is that the name is a reference to Warhammer Fantasy, which is a fantasy universe I love despite not knowing much about it because, well, Warhammer lore. Specifically, its name is a reference to the Dwarf Slayers from Warhammer. Tunnel Rat. This drink turns you into a Vietnam War veteran that was tasked with going into underground holes and rooting out North Vietnamese soldiers. Nah, just kidding, it just reduces your fall damage by 60%. And finally, I saved my favorite one, and arguably the best one, for last. Pots of Gold. This increases the gold you get by mining a lot, and I mean a lot. By 4 times actually. So if you want the we're rich experience, this is what you drink when it comes up. Now that I've explained all the reasons, they are much easier to remember, right? There are only 8 simplistic buffs instead of Defense Potion 1, Defense Potion but stronger with a different name. Speed Potion 1, Speed Potion but stronger with a different name. Attack Potion 1, Attack Potion but yeah, you get it. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and please remember that I personally dislike complex debuffs. You might like them and that's completely okay. If you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate if you could subscribe. Goodbye.